Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. When you're tasked with designing a new software system, one of the first and most critical decisions you will face is how should this application be structured? Should it be built as one large unified block or as many smaller independent pieces? This is a fundamental choice between a monolithic architecture and a microservices architecture. In system design interviews, discussing this choice and justifying your decision is absolutely crucial. Today, we are diving into the core differences, pros and cons, and when to pick each. So let's start first with the monolith architecture. The concept of this one, a monolith is a single, large, tightly coupled application where all components and user interface, business logic, data access layers, and other models are packed into one single deployable unit. If you need to make even a small change, you often have to rebuild and deploy the entire application. Think of a multi-purpose Swiss Army knife. It has like everything you need in one convenient package, like a knife, a screwdriver, a bottle opener, etc. Okay, how does it look like? It's pretty simple. We have the client, we have our app that hold everything. Maybe it can hold everything, and maybe it can also be connected with a DB. But even for some architectures, the app also contains the DB with itself. But this is, I see, rarely. It's not the case. Most of the cases, it will be something like that. A client, an app, DB. That's it. That's it. What is the pros of this one? It's simple. It's simple to develop. Like for small teams and new projects with uncertain requirements, it's straightforward to get started. Number two, simple to deploy as well. Like you deploy just one large file of packages and that's it. Number three, simple to test because all code runs in a single process, making a local testing and debugging easier. Number four, easy to scale vertically. Like you can just make as a single server more powerful. You can add like RAM, CPU, stuff like that. But what are the cons? First, it's really hard to horizontally scaling. Like if only one small part of your application becomes a bottleneck, you have to scale the entire application, which is inefficient because your app should be of multiple services. If one service becomes a bottleneck but the others are fine, you have to scale everything in your app only for this service. It has long build and deploy times. Like small changes can trigger lengthy build pipelines and slow deployments. It has some sort of technology lock-in, like hard to adapt to new programming languages or frameworks for different parts of the application. It has a single point of failure. Since we have only one app and one part of the application, if this one goes down, the entire application is gone. It's highly coupling. Changes in one model can affect the others. We have some slower development for large teams. As the code base grows, it becomes harder for many developers to work simultaneously without stepping on each other's toes. Okay. Microservice architecture. So let's just make a small microservices architecture. We have a load balancer here, and we have a service one. Let's say that this is a user service. Let's say this is a product service, for example. And this is an order service. Okay, so the concept of microservices architecture, an application is built as a collection of small, independent, loosely coupled services. Each service runs in its own process, often deployed in its own container, like Docker, and communicates with other services over a network, typically using lightweight APIs like REST or gRPC. or a message queue. Each service owns its own data. So instead of a Swiss Army knife we talked about, think of a specialized toolbox with dedicated tools for each job, or a kitchen with specialized chef for appetizers, one for main courses and one for the desserts. The pros of this kind of systems or this kind of architecture, we have some sort of independency. Like services can be deployed, developed, tests, and deployed independently, leading for a faster release cycle. Number two, we have some sort of independent scaling. Like you can scale a specific service that needs to be scaled, and or will optimizing resource usage. Like you can scale the user service or maybe the order service, the product service is okay, so no need to scale this one. We have also some different services can use different programming languages, frameworks, or even databases, allowing you to choose the right tool for each job. Also, we have resilience and fault isolation. A failure in one microservice is less likely to bring down the entire application. Other services can continue to function with no problem. Of course, if this service is not like a tier 1 or not critical service, the application will not go down. It's easier to develop as well. Also, we can have like some sort of team autonomy, because small detected teams can own specific services end-to-end, the promotion, agility, and ownership as well. But what are the cons of the system? It's really complex. It's unbelievably complex. Like you're dealing with distributed systems, challenges like network latency, distributed transactions, data consistency across services, inter-service communication overhead, distributed logging, monitoring, tracing, all of that. It's really complex. Also, we have a problem with data management, because managing data consistency across all these services, it's not that easy. We have testing complexity. We increase network latency, because right now the services will talk with each other over a network, and the load balancer will distribute the work across services. So we have some sort of new latency has been added. Okay, so when to choose which? I would say you start with a monolithic. So this is the core question in systems and interviews. Like when to choose monolith and when do you opt for microservice? I say that you start with monolith architecture when first you have a small team or start a new project with uncertain and evolving requirements. Number two, you need a rapid prototyping and want to get market quickly with relatively simple applications. Number three, simplicity of deployment and management is a key priority for you. Number four, your budget is limited for initial infrastructure and operational tooling. You can consider migrating to microservices when your application complexity grows significantly, like too many features, too many lines of code, things like that. Also, your team size expand, and multiple independent teams need to work on different parts of the system. Specific parts of your application need independent scaling, like your payment service has much higher load than your user profile service. You require very high availability and fault isolation for critical components. There is a need to adopt diverse technologies for different functionalities, things like that. So it's a spectrum. Like remember, it's not always either or. Many successful companies start with a modular monolithic architecture, like a monolithic with well-defined internal models, and then gradually refactor specific modules into microservices as needed. Avoid premature optimization. Don't start with microservices, I would say, just because it's the trendy one and it's look quite professional. Don't start with this. It's not a good choice. So in your systems and interviews, when you ask about this, don't just state your preference, justify your choice for the specific problem given the constraints like team size, budget, expect scale, time to market. If you choose microservices, always discuss how you would mediate their complexities, API gateway for client interactions, message queues for inter-service communication, distributed tracing, centralized logging, eventual consistency strategies. This balanced view demonstrates mature approach to architectural decisions. So that's it for this video, and see you in the future.